Welcome back. The co-heads of the Department of Government Efficiency, Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, expected to meet with Republican lawmakers on Capitol Hill today. House Speaker Mike Johnson writing on X, they will discuss major reform ideas to achieve regulatory rescissions, administrative reductions, and cost savings, adding they will revive the principle of limited government. And while the incoming Trump administration targets government waste, President Biden is still spending on his climate change agenda. The Energy Department committed more than $7.5 billion to a Stellantis joint venture with Samsung SDI to build 2 electric vehicle battery plants in Kokomo, Indiana. Joining me now is West Virginia Senator Shelley Moore Capito. She's the vice chair of the Senate Republican Conference and a member of the Senate Appropriations, Commerce, Science, Transportation, Environment, and Rules Committees. Senator, it's great to see you this morning. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good morning. Good morning, Maria.
So tell us about the government waste conversation that you had yesterday and are expected to continue to have. Is there significant waste to cut out, and where is it?
Well, I think everybody is really excited about this government efficiency initiative that President Trump's put forward with Ramaswamy and Musk. They're coming up onto Capitol Hill today. Joni Ernst here in the Senate is sort of leading the charge on the Senate side for us. And I think we can identify a lot of waste. First of all, federal buildings, which is sort of a layup. That's an easy one, as you know, unoccupied and workers not coming in. But at the same time, we have overpayments in Medicaid. We have all these green energy grants going to who knows what and I think suspicious kinds of groups as well. There's a lot to identify here, and I think also it wouldn't be just scraping out waste. It's really discontinuing programs that are well past their usefulness and are really haven't been scoped out or really looked at carefully over the last several years. So I think there's a lot of excitement here for this because I think this will be what the voters want. They want more limited government. They want smarter spending and less spending.
Senator, Trump is rounding out his economic team. He chose Paul Atkins for this chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission, Frank Bisignano for Social Security Administration Commissioner, former Senator Kelly Loeffler chosen for Small Business Administration, Billy Long for IRS Commissioner, and Peter Navarro as Senior Counselor for Trade and Manufacturing. I want to get to some of your meetings in a moment, but let me get your take on Paul Atkins as potential incoming chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission. Would you support a merger of the SEC and the CFTC? Is that something that you think could work, given there's lots of conversation about consolidation of some of these agencies?
Well, I think it has been very unclear, and you've talked a lot about this on your show, as to where the governance over crypto really is. Is it at the SEC? Is it the FCT or FCT? Anyway,
CFTC.
You know what I'm talking about. CFTC. Yeah, sorry about that. Forgot to see.
An alphabet of names. We know that, but you know,
yeah,
Commodities Futures Trading Commission, CFTC.
Got it. And so there's been a lot, you know, is it in ag? Is it in banking? There's all kinds of, I think, conflict here. I think this is something we should look at seriously. This is a growing, obviously, vibrant part of our economy and obviously the international economy. What I've had problems with at the SEC is all of the DEI, all of the climate reporting. All of these things need to be scraped out of there. And let's get back to business as usual in terms of transparency, clarity, all of the things that we really need to be able to follow the regulations that make sense, but also consolidate where we can. And it may be a consolidation of the CFTC and the SEC.
Yeah, and there's this thinking that, you know, this enforcement out of the SEC recently and this, you know, huge rules and regulations has caused investors to look to Europe and Asia with regard to trading crypto, for example. And bypass the United States. Is that something that would concern you?
It does concern me because I think a strong nation has to be strong not just militarily but also economically. And I think the rules of the road, the transparency, the regulatory framework needs to be very predictable, very reliant, and very resilient. And I think this is where we've fallen short over the last 4 years. And I think that this is where President Trump knows. He knows financial markets. He knows how to keep strong and be strong. And I think that's what we need to get back to, and I think you can see that in the appointments that he's made.
So you've been meeting with some of these folks, right? I know you met with Trump's choice to lead the EPA. Lee Zeldin earlier this week. You met with UN Ambassador nominee Elise Stefanik last month. You met with Defense Secretary nominee Pete Hegseth on Tuesday. As Trump is reportedly now, we understand, considering replacing Hegseth with Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. Senator, are you supporting all these candidates?
I'm supporting President Trump's initiatives and the really mandate that the people brought to do things, to be effective and to be bold and to be disruptive in a way. And a lot of that has to do with the president being able to get his team together. So, you know, we do have an advise and consent role. And so we are looking, and that's why these personal meetings are so very important. And, you know, I'm going to support the president down the line and look at every candidate through the lens that I think is important for the security of this country and who's going to be the strongest leader. And so far, I feel very positive about those that I've met, but also those that are coming online, many of whom I know.
That's great. So, you know what, Senator, we talk a lot about how the Democrats have been so successful over the years. And now, obviously, you all won and you're in the majority, and Trump is about to take the lead in the White House. But for a long time, it's been the Democrats who always stick together. And we just did a whole story on who voted for Biden's appointees. You voted yes for Alejandro Mayorkas. By the way, did you regret that?
I do regret that. And the reason I voted for that was I was the chair of the Homeland Security funding, you know, on appropriations. And, you know, he came in, met with me, and I thought he had a vision that was going to actually mirror the vision that President Trump had put forward the last 4 years. And he fell well short of that.
Yeah.
So I do regret that vote for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like, open border has had so many implications, negative implications for the American people. So I guess viewers want to know, Republicans were there for Joe Biden. Are Republicans going to be there for Donald Trump? Are you all going to stick together?
Yes, we are. And I think at the end of the day, the media has, you know, created a firestorm around several of the appointees. But look at the whole body of what the president's moved forward with. It's very positive. We are going to stick together. We had a conference yesterday that I led where the president called in at my request and my desire, and he gave us a good direction, a good pep talk, and said, let's do this together. We have the voice of the people with us, and that's the most important thing to all of us, is that the folks that we represent, their voices are being heard. They want action, and that's what we should deliver on, and we will be together.
Senator, I was so happy to see that talk the other day that you led. You hosted the GOP Senate conference this week with President Trump calling into the meeting, as you say, urging you all and your colleagues to be ready to go. What I'm scratching my head over is why you're doing the extension of tax cuts at the end of the year. I mean, we all know that voters voted for this agenda, and that agenda includes extending the tax cuts. But you're going to prioritize what? The border, defense, and energy, and you're going to push the extension of the tax cuts to the end of the year. What's the thinking?
Well, first of all, nothing's been fully decided here. So I think we're looking at different strategies. The strategy, I think, behind a two-step process would be, we've got to get a short-term win here. We've got to prove to the American people, yes, we're going to clamp down on the border. Yes, we're going to build the wall. We're going to hire more people. We're going to deport. We're going to do all the things, give the president the funding that he needs to do these things. Energy, unleash energy in this country. Scrape out all of the negativity from the Biden administration on energy, and then we're going to have a strong defense. I'm not sure we've fully decided that's the direction to go, and that's why you have these meetings such as we had the other day, but also we had the Speaker of the House. What can they do?
Yeah.
And it may be that they feel they can only do one. I read that in public reports, that one is the way they want to go, one large package. That may be what we do in the end, but what I think we're looking for here is momentum to tell the president and tell the American people, we hear you, we're going to work on the things that are important to you. And remember, the border was one of the #1 things.
Absolutely.
So I think it's important we address that first.
Yeah, I appreciate you explaining that, Senator. That's very helpful for all of us. Real quick, can you do 2 reconciliation packages next year?
Yes, we can. We can actually do 3.
Okay.
And but, you know, that may be too big a bite of the apple, but we can.
Senator, it's great to have you this morning. We so appreciate all the info.
You.
Thank you so much.